Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very cool review impressions of a knife loaned to me from Tyler. I appreciate that, Tyler, for allowing me to check this out. This is a real treat to check out an Arno Bernard Rinkhals. All right, today I have before you the contents of the box that came in, and I'm not going to do anything with it, but I just want to show you, since we're reviewing the knife, it's a really, really amazing knife. First of all, the name of the knife is the Rinkhals, and it sounds like, you know, it's not wrinkle like we got a wrinkle, but it's Rinkhals, right? So that's the name of the knife. It is a slip joint. This right here is the knife itself. A little kangaroo leather here with the lanyard ball. It's called a Rinkhals. It's really fantastically made. This has the pocket clip, but what I wanted to show you is that it has this. So if you didn't want to use a pocket clip, and I believe Tyler got this specifically because he wanted the pocket clip, and so you could, if you were one who didn't want to use the pocket clip, you could take that out, and then you could use this beautiful, and I suspect this is, oh, that's a really nice leather. This, I suspect this is probably like kangaroo leather as well. Really, really nice. Nice soft leather slip joint. So I wanted to point out that that's the possibilities for this knife. They also include a T8 screwdriver, which is really nice, a very high quality T8. So if you needed to adjust something here, and I'll just show you, we're going to gently go in here. We're going to show you, because we're, on the unboxing, we found out what the hardware is. See, it's a nice fit there. And we have that nice fit back here as well. This is so you can adjust the actual, let me get in there. Yeah, so you can adjust the actual, the pivot. So that's what it is. So included tools. Of course, you get a sticker, which is Tyler's, and then of course you get a little book. It talks about the guarantee. This is the Rinkhals, the 24 of 16 solid titanium RWL34, and this is titanium hardware, and this is their guarantee. These guys are great. I have owned 2 iMambas from them, and the one that I have right now, I absolutely love. It's got dark abyss carbon fiber inlay on it. Matter of fact, I'll pull it out just since we're here, right? If I can get to it. Where are you? There you are. Okay. So I love my iMamba. Now the first one I had the flipper on there, and you can get one with flipper if you like it. This was the flipper delete that came in. I didn't have to do this aftermarket. This also has a hollow grind, and it is the high polished one. This is RWL34. So RWL34, if you're curious, it's one of the 2 steels that's typically in the higher end Dama steel, which is made by the same company, and it's a high end steel. It's up there with 150, a CPM 154, the powdered version, or even LMAX. It's kind of up there. It's not, maybe CTS XHP, kind of, we're talking around the same realms. It's not perfectly stainless steel, but it's really good edge retention. It's a nice steel, and that's what they use on this one, okay? The knife manufacturer is Arno Bernard. 3 brothers who are the son of Arno Bernard, and they all work on the knives. Like on this one, they say they had at least 200 touches. I don't know how many they have on this one, but they all work on the knife as well. So it's done there in South Africa. They make the knives, and then they ship them out. African Sporting Goods is typically, we're in the US, you can buy these. So if you're ever curious, where would you find them? African Sporting Goods, right? The designer, Arno Bernard. So it's the Bernards. They're all the Bernard family. So I don't know if their father designed all these and they just continue on them, or if they've made new designs. I don't know how that works, but it's the family, the Arno Bernard family. They're the ones who are the designers. All right, so let's get into the materials. But before we do that, I'm going to put some of the stuff away. I just wanted to show you this, how this all came in here. So I'm going to put all this material away that was included, the sticker and all that stuff. We'll put the little hardware thing right back in here, right? And then we're going to put this right back in here, the sticker, and we'll put the little leather sheath. And of course, you get the little book. And then on top of that, this kind of comes in like this, and it closes like that. And then you get this nice box. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put this back as well. This is a Frank Hank. Sorry, Frank Hank. That's why I can't say it. This is a Frank Hank. So I actually have one of these Frank Hanks as well. How do they fold this? I guess it was like that. Okay. I have one of these Frank Hanks as well, and I have it over on my wall. This exact same one, by the way, that came with my iMamba. And so this is going to be underneath this as protected, right? Really nice presentation here. I got to say, all nice, right? So this is the Rinkhals right here. Let's talk a little bit about this. We talked about the materials. It is a slip joint. It does do the walk and talk. So, right? So you hear the talk. It's nice, crisp. And the walk, as it comes in and out, It's really nice. Locks, engages up there really well. It's got some nice jimping. This is RWL34. This is polished stonewash. This is a hollow grind. I thought it was, and it looked like it, and I wasn't sure, and I called it a flat grind. And one of the brothers actually saw my unboxing and corrected me, so thank you for that, because I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. I was trying to measure it on the fly, and I didn't know. But it looked like it was kind of hollow grind. It's not, their hollow grind is not real dramatic, right? Like if you, now Trevor Berger, but his stuff is different. It's a totally different design, but Trevor Berger also does a knife. One of my favorites is the Urban XL, right? He's also from South Africa. Now his hollow grind is ridiculous, but it is a different knife altogether. He's a different type of designer altogether, right? So there's different ones. Now you can absolutely see the hollow grind on the iMamba. Beautiful hollow grind on this guy. Really, really nice. I love it. So, but this one's a little more subtle because it's a fixed blade. It's a smaller blade, so it's harder to see. It's stone washed and polished, right? So that's really nice. All right, so let's talk about the lock type. This is a slip joint. The back bar here is what locks it in place. It doesn't keep it in place where it can't close, but if your hand is up here and you do a presentation, you hold down tight, it's hard to break that. You can prevent that from just willy-nilly closing, right? Nice, strong presentation. So that's the first thing. It is a solid slip joint. It's nice and crisp. It's got a beautiful talk, though. Isn't that? That's just nice. I love that crisp. Can you hear it? Oh, it's just crispy goodness. All right, so it has a beautiful walk, beautiful talk. The walk is fantastic, nice, dead centered, really wonderful. Very simple in some regards, but very beautiful and elegant in others. And how's it open? We just did it. You've got what's really kind of a thumb. It's supposed to be a nail nick. That's typically what they call it, but it's a fuller hole, a thumb hole, whatever you want to call it. But it's enough. It's got enough crisp. You could easily get that. So it's not a traditional sort of slip joint. This is more of a modern slip joint with this little thing here, but it's nice. It's easy to grab a hold of. You can do the fingertips. You can do the finger here. You can get to it very nicely, and it's very easy to open and close and deploy. It doesn't automatically open and close. It's not like here where I flip it, or if I try to close it like this, and then it can almost by gravity shut, right? You don't have that with a slip joint. It's all manual. Close, and then open, right? So that's how you open and close it. It's kind of they call it the walk and talk, right? The walk is a part of the opening, closing, and then the talk is the sound, the crispness, which I really like. So the blade, this is, again, I would call this probably a clip point. Yeah, it's a clip point. I was gonna say, is it a drop point? It kind of, it's, I don't know what you want to call it. Is it a harpoon, clip, drop, whatever? I don't know. It's technically, it almost looks like a drop point because here, but you see it's just pretty crisp enough that I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and call this I got a little piece of plastic on my hand. It's reflecting in the camera. It's freaking me out. I guess it's from the tape when I was boxing up a tape. Yeah, it's a little piece of tape. So sorry about that. If you saw a little reflection, that was a piece of tape. Yeah, so that's what we got going on right here. It is a really nice job on the stone washed. It's very smooth, really beautiful. It is crown spine, which is typical because I have a crown spine on the iMamba as well. So that's a kind of a natural little tendency they do here, which is nice. You see that a lot in Italian makers, but I like that Arno Bernard does that. The jimping here is very functional. It's useful. It doesn't shred you going across it, but once you push down, you're in there. And you may say, why do you have jimping on slip joint? You might close it. Well, if you get up here and you do a nice strong grip like this, guess what? You're gonna, it has to push up here to open, right? Or to close. And if I push down here with a strong presentation, I'm gonna prevent that. But I'm also gonna be able to hold that so that if I'm pushing this way, like, you know, typically what happens is people push down and then they might want to close it on their hand, right? But if you're pulling something and you don't want it to slip off, or you're trying to push into it, you still would like to have that. You still want to have a little grip on there. So I think it's functional, it's useful. The clip, it does stick up quite a bit, so that might bug some people. I would tend to catch that. I mean, granted, it's high over here, but it's a bigger knife. And on this one, because it's got the inlays, it actually makes it look like it's less, right? It looks like, because you got these really beautifully giant inlays. And I love this, you know, I don't know, it's dark camel carbon. No, it's a dark abyss or something. I don't know. It's cool. I forget what it's called, but I love it. They make inlays for this, by the way. You can get all those. I think Tyler got this so that he could carry it and use it and abuse it and enjoy it. So why not, right? That absolutely makes sense in a lot of regards. I like this. I still am going to use and abuse it. I mean, I do have the inlays on here. I still enjoy this knife a whole lot. So that's not going to change as far as I'm concerned, right? It's just, you know, it's a little extra. It does increase the cost of the knife significantly. So keep that in mind. Beautiful T8s. These are T10s or T15s. I forget. I think we checked last time, but we'll check again real quick. I think they're T15s. So let's try T15s first. That's a T10. Oh, let's try a T10. I know it's not a T8. No, it's got to be a T15. All right, so let's do T15 here. There's a T15. Yeah, it's a T15. T15 and T8s is what you're dealing with here. You've got already a T8 screwdriver. You don't have one for the pivot. Typically, the way he works the pivot, this side of the show side is locked in there permanently. The one that's going to unscrew is the one that's toward the clip side, the inside. So far on this one, this is the one, this is a bigger pivot. This is like a T20, T25, I forget. But this is the side that I unscrew on here. If I, over here, it's going to unscrew this and this is going to fall off, right? Because they super glue whatever, super lock it in there to the pivot barrel. So it's kind of like a captive pivot, but it's not, right? It still can move, and you might need two stubby screwdrivers or something if you're going to take this apart. I've taken slip joints apart before. Typically, there's some extra pins and things in there you got to keep in mind, bringing them all back together with some tension. If you do that, you might need a couple of pieces of wood to kind of press them back together. I don't know if this is similar. I took the Tactile Knife Company Bear apart before, and I did a disassembly and reassemble video, which no one had done at the time I did it. It was kind of nutty. Didn't know what I was getting into, but it was a good experience. I learned a lot. But you can definitely take this apart. You can definitely see the hollow grind there. It's not as pronounced as it is on the iMamba, but it's definitely there, which makes it a nice slicey. Now it's thin. We'll do some measurements here in a second, but it's definitely thin. It's got a nice edge. RWL34 strops up and polishes up really nicely. Gets really sharp, and it also takes a nice polish too. So that's really nice. All right, the blade we talked about. Let's do some measurements. Let's see what are we dealing with? What's the weight of this guy here? Okay, now I'm not going to weigh it with the leather sheath on there, and the reason why, because he already put the clip on there. Because if you were going to do the leather little sheath, you would probably have the clip off, and then it would be lighter, right? So we're just going to weigh it as I believe Tyler's going to carry it, with the clip, no leather sheath. So 2.4 ounces. That's great. That's simply great. That's a very nice light knife, I think. So no questions there. So let's go ahead and measure this guy. Ah, so crisp, so crisp. Kind of jealous he got one of these, because I was eyeing one of these, but I had to wait because I got a Javi Garcia. I got a custom, crazy set of circumstances, but I got one of those, and I've always wanted a Javi Garcia since I saw him and Enrique Pena at Blade Show, Texas, and then Blade Show. Their stuff is amazing, and I couldn't believe I got in on one, and I actually won an auction, so I was like super excited, right? All right, let's measure this guy. Without the lanyard, just going to the back of the knife, we're looking at 6.5 inches. If you were to include the lanyard, which, I mean, I guess in some ways it'd be part of the grip, right? You could go up to 8.25 inches. I wouldn't, but you could, I guess. Let's measure the handle right here, what we're dealing with. We're going to go from right here to here, so we're dealing with 3.5 inches. You could choke up a little bit and probably get up to about 3 and, I don't know, 5/8. But I've got large hands with big meaty fingers. I can get 4 fingers on there. I'm right at the very edge. If you have extra large hands with regular size fingers, double extra large hands with thinner fingers, you could be right there. If you're okay with a slip joint, maybe doing 3.5, you could probably do a big meaty fingers, large hand, an extra large. You could do that, right? It would work. This clip surprisingly fits perfectly right in here between these two fingers right here, so it doesn't have a hot spot. If it didn't, it would absolutely be a hot spot, but it fits perfectly right there as far as I'm concerned. Typically, my slip joints I use is cut small boxes, papers, apples, things like that. That's what I would do with mine. I don't know what Tyler does with his, but to me, it's kind of a tool that I would like to carry with me at the time. I love the kangaroo lanyard. That's kangaroo leather here. That's really cool. I love the titanium clip. I love this finish. It reminds me very much of the glass bead or the bead blasted finish that Chris Reeve Knives does. Just a nice, different, see other people who do it and do it really well like this. So really cool. I love the lanyard. The pivot screw here itself is beautiful. It's a nice, kind of a cool design with the little hole surrounding the actual place where you insert the torque screw. I think that's really, really cool. I love the minimalistic Arno Bernard right there. You don't see RWL34 on here anywhere, and I don't believe there's anything on the inside of the knife. No weight relief on this one. So, it is what it is. It's just, but it's a pretty thin piece of titanium. Steel back right here. Pretty sure that's a steel bar. Yeah, it's a steel bar. Everything else here is titanium. The clip is titanium. This is all titanium, so you're good. All right. Let's see here. We did the weight blade stock thickness. Let's measure that. You're going to want to know that because that's going to be kind of cool. I think it's relatively thin. So I'll move this off to the side. Wait, hold on. I don't think I measured. Got so caught up in the handle. Let's do the blade thickness, the blade length. I totally forgot that. I was getting so caught up in the handle material. Sorry, guys. All right, so it right at 2 3/4 of an inch. If you look at that, the actual cutting length is exactly 2 3/4 of an inch. So if you're in a state where one, it needs to be under 3 inches, you're safe. If you're in a state where it needs to be a slip joint, you're safe as well. So it's a double win for that. All right, so I'm going to put it down like this. We're going to go ahead and measure this with my Mitutoyo. This is a Japanese caliber. If you can get one, get something of this caliber. Get it? Get a caliber of this caliber. Get it? A little dad joke there. Or engineering joke. I don't know. All right. So let's go ahead and do our measurements and ignore that joke, please. 98 thousandths of an inch. So 98. So it's 0.98 inches. So 0.098 inches. Sorry, it's not even 1/10 of an inch. Are we off again? Huh. Okay. So I want to make sure it's not, sometimes I have to reset it, right? I mean, it sits there. It gets cold in the winter, it gets warm in the summer, things change, steel warp. My office is more generally cooler now than it was during the summer in Texas. Normally my office is 75, 76 degrees. In the winter, it's normally 68, 67. So that's it changes things, right? All right, so not a thick blade, definitely a wonderful slicer. You could certainly use that to cut certain things. I don't think you would be displeased with that at all. All right, what is the budget category? I mean, what's the category? Is it a budget knife? No. This is not a budget knife. I believe it was for something. Let me look it up real quick. All right, so it is $429 for the Rinkhals base model. Right now, it's what's selling on African Sporting Goods. Of course, that could change. As of the time I'm recording this, it's $429. It varies. So if you wanted to have inlays, like you wanted to do burlap micarta, you wanted to do synthetic ivory, which is Ephrion, I don't know what that is. You could do orange carbon fiber. You could do uni black carbon fiber. That's the one I have. This is uni black carbon fiber, by the way. All right. And then you can also do orange carbon fiber. What else can you do up here? Snakeskin carbon fiber. Those are all $529. Right, then you get a little more when you get into the kudu bone and the red, white, and blue kudu bone, and then green kudu bones, and then you have some brown kudu bones, and then you get into warthog. Warthog bones tusks get up to $569, and then you get into some of the fancier stuff. You get into like desert ironwood. So if you like the woods, they're up to $599, and then the mammoth molar, which is pretty cool. That's really cool, but that is $719. Then you're getting into the price where you can get one of these imambas. And these are actually more expensive, so they're all relatively higher. Some people may say, how could you spend that much? Well, I've spent more on my slip joint, and I think it's worth it. It's a matter of what you value, and I think this is a good price. I think it is. So this is definitely in the higher end knife, but as you can see, it could move up into, there's one version of it that does become into the custom mid-tech. I would call this mid-tech kind of production, right? Even though it's higher end, it's relatively, I think it's one of the most underrated manufacturers out there. If it was Trevor Berger doing this same type of knife, it would be $300-400 more, right? Instead for $429, you'd be paying $729 or $750 for this thing, right? And that would be a great price for Trevor Berger. I mean, these guys are just knocking it out. Great cost and everything. So definitely check them out. I think it's really cool. All right. What's the purpose of this knife? EDC hard use collection piece? Absolutely can be a collection piece. This falls perfectly into the collection piece, but as you know, my personal collection piece, you can be a safe queen. I carry everything I would have. And if I had this, which someday I may very well have it, just letting you know because I do want it. Someday I'll be buying one of these. It would be absolutely an EDC. I'd carry and use it, all right? Is it hard use? Hard use as far as a slip joint can be, right? So slip joint can be a very useful tool, a very useful knife to carry around. It's great in the office, opening letters, doing all sorts of stuff, and it can be a fantastic knife to carry. It's unobtrusive. It doesn't scare some people when you open them up like this. They're a little less scary. A knife like this, it's usually typically a little smaller than if they see something like this. They might think, oh, that's a huge knife, super shiny. That's got to be scary, and it's not. It's just a knife, right? But some people freak out with that, right? So in that regard, I would say it could be a hard use, but you know, take it with a grain of salt. It's a slip joint. It's not going to lock in place. This blade at least locks. I'm not worried about that closing down on me. So there's more things I could do with this with less concern, or as with this. But right tool for the right job, right? If you need to pry something, get a pry bar. If you need to cut something, a tree down, get an axe, right? If you need to do something in your camping or outdoorsing, whatever, doing something in the woods, get a fixed blade, right? And by the way, these guys make fixed blades too. Just something to consider. But this is definitely a hard use as far as I would consider a slip joint. It's a really well-made slip joint. You could absolutely hard use this. You would definitely take it up. And I feel like if you're going to buy a knife this nice, you should enjoy it. You really should. You should get a chance to carry it, enjoy it, and experience the knife. I don't know how you can buy. This is my 2 cents. Okay, it's not for everybody. You can completely disagree with me, and you're absolutely have the right to disagree. And I can respect it, just like hopefully you'll respect me. But my opinion is I can't enjoy something like this unless I get to use it. And for me, it doesn't mean I have to use it in like a destruction test. I'm not talking destruction test. And you're welcome to do destruction test on your own knives too as well, right? So don't ask me to do a destruction test on my knife or a low knife. It's not going to happen. I don't do that, period, right? But as far as this knife is concerned, I'm absolutely going to, I'm 100% going to use it and carry it and enjoy it. So that's me. All right. So let's talk about overall design. The handles, really well done. Chamfered all the way around. No sharp edges. Very comfortable hand. I like that. Opening and closing. Like I said, this is a slip joint, and it's got a beautiful walk and talk. It's crisp, nice sounding. I mean, really. As far as strength wise, I mean, right now, my Sultan's probably the strongest walk of a knife that I have. And I would say it's probably, I'm going to guess it could probably be harder, because I remember as a kid I had knives that were impossible to open. But I don't know if that was just me as a kid or now. But so I would say my Sultan, my Javi Garcia Custom Sultan, that one's probably a 9. Based on that one, if that was a 9, I would then rate this one right here as probably a 7. Yeah, a 7, maybe a 6, right? I have a Gentleman Jack by Medford. Love that knife. That one probably a 5, right? So I'll just say that. This one's definitely crisper than the Gentleman Jack. And I love the Gentleman Jack. It's a wonderful, wonderful slip joint as well. Another premium USA made one. All right. I have a Bayer by Tactile Knife Company. That one I would probably rate as a 4. I have a QSB Hedgehog. That one's probably going to be a 7. Yeah, 7, maybe an 8. And then I have, I have the Barley. The Barley, that's nice. That one I would probably rate maybe a 6, maybe a 7, 6.5. I don't know. So this one is definitely going to be, it's a 6. It's a 7. I'm back and forth. It's right in there. It's crisp. It's crisp enough. It's not weak. The problem is it's easy to open because it's got an easy way to open it. If that wasn't there and it was a traditional nail nick, this would be a lot harder, and it would be a harder opening and probably rated higher. But it's just, this is so good. This is so good that it makes it easy to open, and I love that. I love that. I think that's brilliant, 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 brilliant. So, it's a crisp walk. So it really, realistically, when I feel it, it's a 7. I think where I get foiled and want to lower it's because it's so easy to open because of that. And that's just a great design. So, that's my 2 cents on that one. All right. The textures, the jimping. Jimping is very functional. Works great. The texture is wonderful. It is a beautiful kind of, it's not going to feel like it's a slip out of your hand. I don't know if you call this like aluminum blast or something, or what they call this, but a gray, kind of gray blast. It's not Cerakote, but it definitely feels like you got good texture. The chamfering all the way around is really comfortable, all that stuff. The clip is nice. Not my favorite clip. It does go up quite a bit. I would prefer that when I get this, I'm going to take the clip off. It's going to go into the leather sleeve. No questions. Right, and I'll probably take the lanyard loop off too. I'm not a big lanyard person, but I know some people want to keep it on there because it kind of brings homage to it. Just like if you got like a sheer Gorf with a fancy, lanyard, you might want to leave it on there, but I would still take it off, right? That's just me. But I wouldn't cut it off. I would take it off carefully, and I did that. I still have my original lanyard that came with this one. I could put it back on if I wanted to, and that's absolutely something I could do, right? All right, overall field, opening and closing on this one. It's great. I love how it works for a slip joint. This is fantastic. Absolutely well executed. So What's the fidget factor on this one? Well, you know, it opens and it closes, but it has a clip, and you can put in the slip. So, but this opening and closing works really nice, both left and right-handed. I mean, I can do 2 fingers, I can do this, I can do a big old thumb like that. That really does kind of give it a little extra than I would normally say. A fixed blade gets a 1, have a nice sheath, it gets a 2. One of these guys here, you know, it's 1 kind of, you know, but you can do it well both sides, so it would normally be a 2. Might give it a 2.5. This one, it's just so good. I got to give it a 3. I got to give it a 3. The only thing that really hinders it is this clip, right? But again, it's only on here because this is how Tyler wants it. I could take it off, put the insert on there, put it in the sleeve. No questions asked. No questions asked. It would absolutely be a 3. A solid 3. So I'm going to give it a 3. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3. It's a 3. And that's pretty darn good for a slip joint if you didn't know that. I don't normally give that. That's a pretty high rating there. My Javi Garcia custom slip joint, I think I gave it a 3, but I mean, that thing, it's a custom. This is a custom. This is mid-tech, but Javi hand milled the jig titanium, hand polished, hand satin, hand assembled. I mean, that's a custom, full custom. It's a little different, right? You weigh them a little separately, right? This is as close to custom as you can get without being custom, and it's pretty darn good. And it's got a lot of custom in it because all the brothers handle this. It's not just purely on a machine where they just have a production line, people who come in and out work, who punch a clock. It's the Arno Bernard brothers who work on this. They're the ones doing the work. They're assembling, milling, polishing, sharpening. They're doing this knife. So that's why I say mid-tech, but it's close to custom. It really is. But some of you guys are going to be like, they use a CNC machine. It's got to be mid-tech. Fine. Call it mid-tech. That's okay. I respect it, right? Your call. But I disagree with you. I think you're wrong. I mean, there's an argument to be made. In some ways you're right, but in some ways you're wrong. So there you go. Yeah, so out of that 3, what do I feel? Fidgety goodness. I can't take away from this because it can be removed. You can put insert, get the leather sleeve exactly how I want it. So it's 100%. It's got to be 100%. It's phenomenal. I would have gotten this had I not got the Javi Garcia. I would absolutely 100% have this. And the fact that Tyler got it before I did, because he's the one who turned me on to slip joints. You got to understand, he got me to drink the Kool-Aid. I was not into slip joints, and he sent me one to say, hey, why don't you take a look at this? And I was like, okay. And I did, and I was like, oh, okay. And he sent me a superlative that was really cool, and that's another one that I really liked, but I was like, I can't. And then I heard everything about the QSP Hedgehog, which is a good first slip joint. If you're going to start off with slip joints and you've never done one, get the QSP Hedgehog. It's a good, budget-friendly, well-made slip joint, and it works. And it's got a crisp walk and talk. It'll make you, and it's easy to open and close. It's a good one to start with. It totally got me to drink the Kool-Aid. And we say drink the Kool-Aid because we have if you become a channel member here, I have little emojis in the live stream that you can post, or if you leave in the comments, and one of them is me holding a slip joint as the Kool-Aid man, drinking the Kool-Aid. So basically the slip joint is me drinking the Kool-Aid, all right? I kind of drank the Kool-Aid with fixed blades too. I mean, I liked one fixed blade, and I was only planning ever to have one fixed blade, but I had more than one because I kind of was like, okay, these are not bad. I like them, okay. So there you go. All right, so absolutely 100% on fidgety goodness. So am I going to recommend it? If you can't figure that out now, you weren't listening. So wake up. You know, I almost feel like going, hello, McFly, right? Kind of like Back to the Future. If you don't know that, it's Back to the Future. Yes, I'm going to recommend it. I love it. I think it's great. I'm jealous. I'm incredibly jealous that Tyler got this one before me. Tyler, you rock. You got yourself a great one. Really phenomenal. An incredibly great knife. Great choice. Fantastic. I think you're going to really love this. There's so many good things about this, man. Just handling it. I mean, I didn't do any sort of use or anything. I cut a piece of paper, I think that was it. But I'm not going to do hard test, cut test. I don't do that. It's a borrowed knife. It's a high-end, really nice knife. I don't do that on a loaner knife. That's not what I do. And I don't do it with my own knives. I don't do destruction tests. I enjoy the knife, and I really got a chance to enjoy this. Just handling it here at the desk, opening and closing. It's been an absolute wonderful joy. So yeah, highly recommend it. I think it's great. All right, love to hear your thoughts about the Rinkhals yourself. If you have one, or if you're thinking of getting one, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Let me know. But before we do that, we didn't do our close-up. We got to do some close-ups. Come on. We got to zoom in here. You guys want to see this, so let's look at the blade here. This is actually a hollow grind. You can sort of see it now. I thought I saw it before, but I called it flat grind in the opening unboxing. I was wrong. Beautiful stone wash, but it's kind of a polished stone wash. You can see it, and it's very smooth, very nice. on both sides. It's got a crown spine on top, and there's the jimping that's very functional. I love the lock up here. Hardly can see it, but it engages really well. You put your thumb there, it really keeps it in place from closing. Love the pivot. Love the design of the pivots on both sides, right? And on this side, you have the Arno Bernard, very minimalistic logo. You do have the number of the knife, 2024, and I think this is 116. Yeah. So, and then I love the finish on here. It's nice. Screws are a little raised, but they're rounded. They're comfortable. They're aesthetically pleasing. Love the kangaroo lanyard. This is kangaroo leather, so it's really nice. You can take it off. You just loop it and it comes right off. Likewise on the back, you got the clip. Tyler chose to leave the clip on there and use the clip. You can take this off. There's a little insert. You can put it in. Looks beautiful. And then there's a little leather slip sheath that you can put it into. Really nice. Like it. The back up here is beautiful. Lines are tight. Everything's wonderful. Blade looks great in hand. The clip here, it does have it sticks up a little bit, but the good thing is when you grip it right here, it's right in between your fingers, so it doesn't burn. It's not uncomfortable. It works really well for me. So as long as your finger is not like this big, if you got a finger that big, well, you probably shouldn't. It's not the knife for you, by the way. But if it is, you know, you might have a little problem with it. Just something to keep in mind. All right, so inside, you see the back, the bar that locks it in place. There's no milling, no weight relief, but it's very thin. It's very small. You saw the weight, 2.9 ounces. Not bad. All right, and actually, if you look at the ratios, 2.9, almost 2.9 inches, or it's close. The ratios are close. It's not exactly close, but they're close. I like that. All right, nice sharp edge. Definitely polishes up and sharpens up really well. So there you go. I think it's a stunning little knife. All right, so let's do our little. I'm going to try to bring this up so you can see the lanyard loop. I want to kind of have that in the picture. All right, so let's do our little thumbnail here, a little capture, a little, you know, hey, check this knife out. So there you go. I think it's a beautiful little knife. I love it. So there you go. Let's look at the back as a whole. Nice. All right, so there you go. Now we had a chance to do a little zoom and look in on it, because I know some of you guys are like, man, I want to be able to see the knife. So if you hung around this long, you got a chance to see it, great. I'm glad I could do that. Sorry I didn't do it sooner, but there you go. All right, so there is the Rinkhals by Arno Bernard. Fantastic knife, highly recommend it. Think it's great. Thank you, Tyler, for allowing me to check it out. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit the like button, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. Subscribing and liking the channel really helps me out. It allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. Seriously, for you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And if you haven't already, maybe hit that notification button down below as well so you can be notified of future content like this video and other videos. Yeah, thank you to everyone who watches the videos, enjoys the content, who is part of the live stream. I appreciate you guys. And also a big shout out, a big thank you to all my channel members. You guys really encourage me. Sometimes when, you know, you're like the gym buddy. You help me to keep going when I'm not always motivated, because you're there. I love knives, but every once in a while, you know, and then you kind of support the channel, and I like, I get all excited again. So I appreciate you. The other thing, you also allow me to do things way sooner than I ever could. For instance, check out stuff like this. If it wasn't for you guys, I couldn't afford shipping, things like that. You guys help with the shipping. Even Tyler helped with the shipping, right? Thank you. Thank you. And Tyler's a member, so I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys so very much for that. And as a small way for me, you're so generous to me. I want to be generous back. I do a once-a-month members exclusive giveaway, and also give all brand new members a channel member sticker and a little thank you note. So once-a-month members giveaway every month. As long as you're a member, you enter the members giveaway, and it's much nicer. It's a regular knife. It's not a little budget banger kind of knife I do every week. It's exclusive just for the members. And I try to make it so that it's something you really would like or would love to have to give, right? Try to make sure it's a nice knife. The other thing I also do is if you're currently a member right now, whether you became a brand new channel member, you're a channel member all along, or you were a channel member and you became a channel member again, but as long as you're a channel member right now and you've never gotten a channel sticker and you would like one, I would love to send you one. Love to send you a little channel sticker as members and a little note saying thank you. It's my small way to say thank you to you guys as well. If any of this sounds interesting, sounds like, hey, I'd like to become a channel member because I love that sticker, or I love Rob's Nerdy Knives, or I want to get in the giveaway, which realistically you probably want to get in the giveaway. Yeah, there's a link down below for 3 different tiers. Would love to have you. Don't ever feel obligated to be a member, but I am always grateful and appreciative if you are. So thank you. All right. If you haven't already, check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.